Well, hello, and here we find ourselves again with another DIY project here at the cabin, and we're in the master bedroom, and we want to change out this light. It's not very good, and when you stand in front of it, over by the mirror, it casts a shadow, and it's just terrible lighting. So we want to get this light off the wall, and we want to put some lighting up here on these beams. We're going to use the same string lights and LEDs that we have in the kitchen. Very similar. I want to run 2 or 3 lights on one beam and then 2 or 3 on the other one. And then at the same time though in the closet here, because there's no light in the closet, but if you look up here in the back, right behind the light, there's a hole already in the wall. So I'm going to take this lighting down here, disconnect these spotlights. I'm probably going to reuse them in the hallway because that light doesn't hardly do anything. I'm going to run these wires and pull them back and into this space, and then wire a regular receptacle to them, and then I'm going to plug in a pair of string lights with 6 lights. Now I'm going to run one, will stay in the closet. Then I'll go through this wall up near the ceiling, and I'll run the other 5 lights out here and across the beams. That's the plan. I've looked at the light kit. I think that'll work pretty well. The main project here is to pull this light down and to see if I can feed these wires in through the wall behind it. There's a couple of holes in this wall, so it looks like some damage was done there. We actually just noticed that the other day, but don't know what caused it. Maybe it was when they were trying to run the wire up to the top there. I don't know. The cable that you see hanging there actually goes to the 2nd floor up to the loft, and it's just a TV cable. We don't use it, so I may pull that out too just to kind of clean things up. And then we got some holes we can repair while we're at it. So we'll take this light down and see what we got. Okay, I managed to get the light down. It was pretty easy. Pulled the wires apart and pulled it out through the hole, and you can see it's not as big a hole as I was thinking it was going to be. So we were even thinking of either hanging a picture over it, or I could plug the hole. It's about 1 inch in diameter, I would guess. Being a rustic cabin, it's not that big of a deal. I may even run the lighting through that hole to get the light from the closet back out here. But I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. And I'll show you inside the lighting. Of course, I can't turn the switch on. There's no light anyway, but I'll let you keep myself. So here's the wires coming out the hole. And I went out and looked in my spare parts to see what I have. And I have an old metal box, but I really have no way to brace that. So I think my best option here, because of the location being up inside the closet, like you really got to break your neck to even realize it's there, is I'm going to connect these wires to a female receptacle. Kind of make it an extension cord, and then just plug the light into it, because it comes with a pack, a power pack. It kind of downgrades the power to a low voltage LED. So we're not talking about a high voltage draw here. I'll show you what I've got in mind here. Trying to use the light that I have. So this is what I'm looking at doing, if you can see that. It comes apart, and it'll be a female receptacle, and then the plugs for my lights will plug right into that, and then it can just hang up there in the corner. I mean, it's not in the way. You don't see it. You really got, like I said, you got to lean in and look up and break your neck to see it, to even notice it's there. So I think, but the aesthetics, it's not going to be a big deal. I don't have a plastic receptacle. I could get one, but I don't think that's going to look any more pleasing than what this will. So I'm just going to fix it with this. This should be an easy fix. The hardest thing will just be getting in there to wire it, because I need to get 2 hands up there. It's easy to get 1 hand. It's kind of hard to get 2 hands up there. But let me navigate that process and get this hooked up. And if I get the wires on there, it should be a pretty easy go of it then from that point. Okay, we're up in the closet. See if I can re-angle this light a little better. And I've got the pigtails plugged into the holes. Now the white is marked. It's got a little white collar, and then on the other side it has a W. The ground is always green, is marked by a green screw or a green circle in this case. And then your other hot wire is the one that goes in the other plug. That can be either red or black, typically black, but could be red in some instances. And that's really it. You tighten it down really good, which it feels like it's really tight. And then you just push this shroud back down and then run those screws in. And then I have two clamps that also have screws, and they clamp on the outside of these wires and pull them in tight together. And then you'll end up with a plug. And it'll be safer because there'll be no exposed wire. And your hot wire and your white are, you know, the wires are covered. They're not overly stripped so that they're sticking out and be a danger. They're all encased in this plug receptacle. And then once I screw this all together, then it'll look like that. And then we'll give it a go and make sure it works. Okay, we're back here in the kitchen, and I wanted to show this light kit. I'm kind of working off of this counter to stage my pieces because, you know, in there I don't have really good light. I'm trying to put in a light. So what they are these they're 12 inches long LED bars. And they're almost exactly like the ones here in the kitchen, if you can see them. And then they string together with a light. And this kit comes with some extensions. So if the lights need to be further apart, you can put these extensions in there. And I will be spreading the lights out a little bit, so I probably will be using these. And then they give you an option of either sticky back tape, it's two-sided 3M tape, which I can use to put the one light in the closet. But when we get into the bedroom, then I'm going to have to use, this is not going to stick very well to rough cut lumber. So I'm going to have to use this. And this is the same thing I used here in the kitchen. It's screws, and then you take the metal clip, and these might be different actually. These look like they clip on after you screw them in. I like that better. Because what these are little head screws, and then they're just magnetized up there. So they pull down real easy. These look like they screw in place. But at any rate, you'll have a clip on each end of the light. This is kind of how it works here. You can see how you put the plug into a regular house receptacle, which I've made a extension cord pigtail out of mine. And you plug it in, and then you can run the lights any kind of way you want. Now there is a dimmer switch that goes in here. Let's see. Right here. And you would put this dimmer switch in typically, but my light switch on the wall already has a dimmer switch. So we're just going to hold on to that. We might use it somewhere else another day. Always keep spare parts because you never know when they might come in handy. I could put it on these lights here in the kitchen if I wanted to dim the overhead lights, because they don't have a dimmer capability. So I think this kit was about 30 bucks, roughly $30 to $40, somewhere in there. And there's 6 lights, and we like the way they look here in the kitchen. We like the way it's lit up the kitchen, so we thought, hey, why wouldn't they work in the bedroom? So we're going to do the same thing. So there you got it. Alright, so we got the lights installed. So it's really just a matter, I just ran the wire through the hole that was already there, and we'll probably put a picture over it or something. And if we change our mind about that and we want to run it through a more discreet location, up maybe closer up in the seams up here, then we can do that at a later date. In the closet here, so I put one light on the wall here so you can see in the closet, and then I just kind of hung those wires up there, and there's the plug. And like I said, all this you don't see unless you really bend your neck into the closet and look up like I'm showing it to you. This is not normal, so it doesn't bother me that it's up there, because you know, you're looking this way and the light works well, and the lights I think do a good job. Now I'm only really lighting up half the room. Over here it's not really necessary. This is where everybody kind of gets ready, is over on this side of the room, and this is where we enter the room and exit the room. So I just put the 5 lights over there and then the one in the closet. And it all works off the switch. So all in all, I think it's a good asset to the house. And the wires here, I just had to, they got some little adhesive backed clips that you can clip them up. I can do something else to maybe hide that in the groove, but I just put it up for now. And really, it's a cabin. You know, it's a rough cut lumber cabin. It doesn't have to be perfect. Not for me, it doesn't. My OCD is not that bad. So functional lights, a lot more light than there ever used to be in here. So I'm glad, I'm happy. Relatively inexpensive and really easy to install. So yeah, that's it. Another DIY project here at the cabin. Another adventure right around the corner at Madam Mayor's Adventures.